You're not gonna go shift rock, yeah. You're gonna go shift rock, yeah. You're gonna be like a cartoon character.
Hey there, I'm G, and welcome to the next level. Back again here at Dragon's Lair's LairCon, and it's time to get our knuckles up together. It's time to scrape our nuts because I'm here with the one and only Mr. Scott Dreier.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me, G.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time to chat with us.
Of course. Are you kidding? My pleasure. My pleasure.
So for those who might not know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been performing, gosh, I feel like my whole life, but do you want to talk specifically about Knuckles or
whatever you got started. It's about you, not just about Knuckles.
Yeah, so I have a kind of a similar story with, I'm going to tell you how I got Knuckles. Let's start there, right? Okay, so I've been doing theater my whole life. I've been a singer my whole life. But voiceover was new to me until this one came into my life. I was doing a show in San Diego with David Humphrey called Forever Plaid.
You talked about that in his
interview.
interview.
We talked about it in his interview, so I know this will be kind of a crossover. But this is the deal, how I got this part. Ryan had been playing all of the voices. So he had been doing Sonic Shuffle, he was Knuckles, he also played Shadow, and he also, of course, played Sonic. And the producers wanted different actors for each of the roles. And so Ryan and I, we used to look exactly like each other. We used to sound like each other, so much so that we both had commercials running at one point. He had a Padres commercial running, and I was living in San Diego at the time, and I had a Foot Locker commercial. And he had family members that would come to him and say, "Hey Ryan, I saw your Foot Locker commercial." And I had family members that would come to me and say, "Hey Scott, I just saw your Padres commercial." And we would both be like, we're not in that commercial. And we'd heard about each other, and Ryan and I met each other at the audition for Plaid. I ended up getting that. He ended up taking over the part when I left the show. So we have this all this crossover. But so they're looking for originally the voice of Shadow. And we're trying to voice match voice match Ryan rather. And so David and I are called in to do it. And Ryan recommends me because he says, if you want someone to voice match and sound like me, call Scott Dreier. He looks and sounds like me. A really nice thing to do, right? As another actor,
yeah,
beautiful human being. These guys are my brothers, truly my brothers. So I was like, great. I went and auditioned all day long. We had the whole Japanese team there. They're listening to us. They're playing Ryan. They're like sound like Ryan all day long. They're clapping. They're applauding. I'm like, I am so going to be playing Shadow. I've got this job. The end of the day, I get a call from Lonnie, and she says, the deal is you're not going to get Shadow because the producers thought you sounded too much like Ryan.
Oh, and so you did your job a little too well.
And I was like, that was the goal, right? Doesn't that mean I win? At the time, I rarely get mad about anything because I just trust the world and it's supposed to work out the way it's supposed to. But what ended up happening, because David naturally sounded different than Ryan, the producers were attracted to not a sound-alikes. They wanted us to be different. And so I didn't know that David had gotten the part that day, but Lonnie said to me, I'll call you tomorrow. This has a happy ending, but I can't tell you right now. I'll call you in the morning. She called me the next morning and she said, when you walked in, the producers, when you walked out of the room, they all said, that's Knuckles. He's Knuckles. So it was a good lesson for me, just being a performer for so many years. And we always think the goal is the part, is the thing. But for me, I can't imagine anyone else being Sonic but Ryan. I can't imagine anybody else being Shadow but David. And to me, Knuckles is such a part of me. He is part of who I am. He's part of my makeup. I love him so much. To get to voice him is one of the greatest honors I've ever had in my life. He will stay with me forever. I have respect for every single human that has voiced him since, and I love talent. I celebrate talent. I want these characters to live on forever, so I celebrate that. But then creating the character, the producers were so kind. They wanted us to be a part of the process. They wanted us to figure out who the characters were. And the gift, which I didn't know was going to be a gift, was Ryan and I had to stay away from each other vocally because we looked like each other, because we sounded like each other. So then the goal for us was, what's going to be different? Scott, let's have your voice be low. So they recorded me every morning. First thing in the morning, I was the first to go when my voice was nice and low so that you always got that, hey guys, long time no see. We started there. And it was also a gift because the one thing I didn't want to do, I didn't want to play him hot-headed, I didn't want to play him angry, I wasn't interested in playing one note. And I thought gamers are too smart for that. They don't want to hear one note. Let's have him have ease, let's have him have command, let's have him have all of it, so that when he gets mad, it comes from somewhere, it's motivated by something. And so, because of the gift of staying away from Ryan, it sort of helped me create Knuckles. And then Lonnie, the team, they had a little code word for me, because of course, naturally what happens when you get excited is your voice raises, right? Mm-hmm. And so, of course, anytime that would happen, I would get into Ryan territory. So they would just lean into the mic and they would say, Ryan. And then I would remind me, oh yeah, I've got to get back down here, back down in this part of my voice. And so it really, it was just thrilling, like to be a part of it, and of everything I've done, and I have many things that are my favorite TV show to be a part of, my favorite album to record, my favorite theater show I ever did. I have all of that, but Knuckles has such a big part of my heart. He's so dear. Sorry, I love him so much, and getting to meet the fans has been. This is my beginning of the journey of meeting the fans, and I've always wanted to do it, but the truth is I'm super shy. I was a super shy kid, and so the idea of a lot of people has always made me nervous. But then I remember, right, all I'm gonna do is talk to G until I'm done talking to G, right? And then I'm gonna talk to the next person, and then getting the gift of getting to be a part of people's childhoods in a positive way. And this journey is so beautiful, and then to get to share it with Ryan and David, they are like my brothers. I would do anything for those boys. They call me Scotty, they would call me, they say, hey Scotty, can you? And I'd be like, yes, whatever you need me to do. I mean, that's the brotherhood that we share, and I think that shows up in the games.
Absolutely. 1,000%.
Yeah, I don't know if I answered your question
No,
really
you
at all,
no,
right?
you
Like I figured we want to get to this, right? But
Yeah.
I will. I'm happy to talk about growing up and all of the stuff. But
That was wonderful, wonderful. Because I get a chance to talk to voice actors. I'm not gonna say like fairly often, but I'm always thrilled and honored every time that I do. I haven't heard anybody really explain just how much that character has touched them in the heart like you just did. So I really appreciate that. More than anything, that's a wonderful story.
He truly, like, I love that his life lives on, and I love that so many other people are infusing their artistry. And that's when people come up to me and they say, you know, do you like this person? Do you not like this person? I'm kind of slowly getting to meet the other voice artists that have voiced Knuckles, and I just love anything we can do to keep this beautiful series going and this beautiful character. I'm all for it. If I have one gripe and only one gripe, it's not even a gripe really, it's a request. My biggest wish is these movies that keep coming out. Why aren't we Easter eggs in them?
I know, right?
Why aren't we part of it? Why aren't we? That's my only thing. I just think the Marvel series has figured it out. The fans would lose their minds if I spoke to the current Knuckles. You know, they would just lose their minds, and I just think I think they deserve it, and I think we forget the power of the fans. That none of this exists without them, and without the ferocious, unconditional, glorious, beautiful love that they have bestowed on us for so many years.
Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is, I was just talking with Ryan, and I asked him basically the same sort of thing, like how so. Ninja Turtles did something many years ago called Turtles Forever, where it was turtles across different multiverses, and they were voiced by the different voice actors that played each individual turtle.
Sure.
The same thing with something like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, where you're meeting multiple different Spider-Men. I would love to see that for Sonic, like some sort of Sonic Forever, where you would meet Adventure Knuckles, who meets X Knuckles, who meets, well, maybe not movie because it'll probably get really expensive, but for everything else, I would love to see that happen. So that basically is exactly what you were talking about just now.
Yeah.
Like I would love to see that.
It would be lovely, and for us, it would be a lovely, I don't want to say coda, because I don't think this is ever going to end. I think we are always part of its history. We get the gift of meeting all the fans now, which means it continues on and on and on. But it would just be it would be lovely. It'd be lovely to be remembered and to be a part of as being a part of creating it. It'd be lovely to be a part of what's happening with it now.
saying that's the best thing too. Sonic is never going to end. And I think it's also because Sonic has now finally, well, not finally, I guess it's been away for a good while, but the movies helped push it, right? That now he's not just a video game icon. He is now a pop culture icon. He is a worldwide icon. He is everywhere now. And I couldn't be happier. As a fan since 1991, I couldn't be happier.
Love that.
It's just awesome. And then with Knuckles too, because I remember when you got to play the character of Knuckles beforehand, did you go and play any of the other games like prior to or beyond that? Which ones were your favorite when you did?
Well, first of all, as an actor, I'm a researcher. So of course I did my research on the character and what came before me, and definitely used it as and I'm imagining that the other actors who have voiced since me have done the same thing. But yes, and of course I haven't played my games in a long time, so that is something I really do want to go back and revisit.
I was really hoping that maybe from the slim chance you'd say, oh man, I remember playing Knuckles Chaotix on the 32X. You know, his own game.
Yes.
The one and only Knuckles game. And
yes.
It's never appeared on anything beyond that.
No, I've never played it.
It's such a shame because it's really good. It's really, really good. But that's awesome because like I remember when I got Sonic 3, like the day that it came out, and just because like you saw him in all the ads and everything, but just that moment when you're flying in and he hits you and he takes all the emeralds, he just I was just like, oh, you little bugger. It's like, I'm going to get you. And it's been awesome ever since. Like, in every iteration of Knuckles. So just like when I was talking to Ryan, when I played Sonic Adventure for the first time on 9999, when I got it on the Dreamcast, and hearing Knuckles' voice, because that was the first time that I had ever heard Knuckles. I didn't see the anime yet. Like, that was the first time I had ever heard Knuckles' voice. And so it always, whenever I hear him throughout the different years, it always comes back to yours. I'm thinking about it. So, and it's because of you. So thank you for that.
I'm humbled by that. I will never take it for granted. I will never take for granted the gift of getting to play this beautiful character, and I will never take for granted just this love that, it is the 20th anniversary this year of Sonic Heroes, and the fact that we are still talking about these games, it's so beautiful to be a part of the rich legacy, and I feel like we were so lucky to do the games when we did them because it was still so grassroots. Back when we did it, the entire team from Japan came to San Diego when we recorded. They were there for every single time we opened our mouths. And it's funny because when we do panels, both Ryan and David, they'll say, did you know this was going to be, what it is? They always say no. I say yes. I knew there were all of these people in the room and everyone collectively just wanting it to be great and us wanting to be better because of the playground we got to play in with the wonderful actors that we got to play with. But I knew because every time I stepped into that isolation booth, every hair on my arm would stand up. I could feel him. I wanted to bring him to life, and that's the thing that I love the most about doing voiceovers is it's you. You are quietly in this room, and you get to create, and you get to be big, and you get to come up with great physicality to find the character and to bring it to life. And I think the only things that I don't want to say. There would be certain times, like especially because we were transitioning, obviously the Japanese version of the games was so great, but the Japanese team would be there, and sometimes they'd have like the sounds they would want us to make.
Right.
And sometimes it would be like you'd be climbing and they would want you to go, huh, guh, huh, guh, huh, and we'd have to explain, that's not how we would do it. And then they would be like, well, how would you do it? And we'd be like, huh, huh, huh. And so it would be like this, but beautiful dialogue. Like they were learning, we were learning because we wanted to be respectful of what had come before us. These games did not exist without the games before us. So we had this kind of mutual, beautiful, lovely respect and dialogue going back and forth, and I always felt heard as an actor. I loved that they allowed me to use every part of my range, and that we just didn't make, because I think there's a world where Knuckles could be super annoying if you just played him as hot-headed all the time. And so I was so happy and thrilled when they allowed us to do that.
Yes. They're able to have that nice meld of, hey, we have a vision for the character, but we also want the character to be you. We want you to have your own unique take on it. That's wonderful.
Yeah, and the gift of like, again, I just think that I'm very like que sera about the world, that everything happens the way it is supposed to, and just realizing like I wasn't supposed to get Shadow that day. David was supposed to get Shadow, and I was supposed to get Knuckles, and it's not a mistake that Ryan and I are both in the game, and we sound like each other, and they have to figure out a device to separate that. And what is that going to be? Scott's voice normally has nice lows to it, but it's really low in the morning. Let's have him, like, just that we're all collectively trying to figure out a way to make the characters and the world come to life in the most beautiful of ways. And I feel really lucky that I got to be part of it, not just a part of the series because it's so wonderful and amazing, but I think I have so much respect for every single voice in the games that I was lucky enough to be a part of. Everyone is top notch and so talented, and just made you want to be on your A game all the time.
Nice. Yeah. So speaking of voice actors, is there any particular fun story within voice acting that you could share with everybody? It doesn't necessarily have to be Sonic, but is there a particular fun story that you could share with everybody? Because I always love hearing, because it's never the same story twice. It's always something new.
Well, it might be. Has David told you the story I tell about him?
Is it about with him and the...
Yes, he told it already. Yes, because my side of that, whenever you show the story, if I'm before him or after, but is that I felt so badly. Did he tell you my part in it? Yes.
Well, I only gave a little bit of it, so if you want to expand on it.
And this is the deal. I have to say this. This is anybody that's done voiceover work. When you are stuck in a studio, in a recording box for multiple hours, everyone gets a little brain, whatever happening, and you get frustrated with yourself because you just want to do a good job.
Yep.
And if you can't get it, the only person you're mad at is you. Yep. And that is what happened in that moment with David, right? But of course, he's in an isolation booth that is as big as this area that we are sitting in right now. And I come in and I'm just, brand new in the day, fresh energy, right? I'm sitting down, and David and I, we've done a show together. So I know David, I know when he gets frustrated. He is truly like my brother. And he got so mad at one point that he just threw his pencil, and it literally just ricochets off of every single corner of that isolation booth, and then hits him in the head. And then his eye line goes right to me, and I can't stop laughing. And I just look down because I'm like, he's going to be so mad at me. But then that brings out the happiness in him, because he's like, oh my gosh. And then they're like, David, as they should, why don't you take a break? Let's bring Scott in, and he can do a couple lines, and just to give you a break. They take him out, and he's standing in the room, and I come in and I say my first line, and the whole room goes, oh, Scott, that was perfect. And so after that, he's like, oh, Scott, that was perfect. Like that's our big joke that we always say to each other. And was it that I was perfect? No, it's that I was the brand new energy that they hadn't been listening to, but it's something we'll still do. We'll still tease each other in that way. But I always think of that. I'll tell, I love this story. I was actually talking to Lonnie about it, and she doesn't even remember it. She's Rouge,
right? Of course,
in the game, yeah, and directed us. So Lonnie was and just she's so talented, and just a great human, and just holy smokes. But so she was the liaison between the Japanese team and us.
Okay.
And so she would give us direction when they would give direction to the interpreter, and then she would come in, and so it really made all of us bond, because she is an actor, right? And she's a director, she's all of it, so she's able to do all of that. But I remember one scene that we had to do together, and she had not done her lines yet, because typically what they do is they'll play the lines if they've been recorded, so you're actually acting to something, so that it's not this isolated, just random line that you're saying. And she was like, I haven't recorded any of this. She's like, let me just hop in and I'll do this with you. And so we got to do that, and that was like my world, right? That's theater. Like all of a sudden I'm like, oh, and I think that shows up. Like when I watch that or play the games or watch the things from that, it's like, of course we did that together, because it's just, we have the banter of real life, and this, thing this gift you never get doing voiceovers. You're totally isolated. You're always by yourself. So I think of that. Yeah, I mean, and I sing, so I also think of recording studio. I think of that as I sing live, but it's so different. It's a similar thing. The microphone catches every lie. It catches everything. Truth. It catches everything. So you have to tell the truth.
Yes.
All the time. And that with singing as well. Like I realized, oh, I don't have to belt this to the back row because the mic is so intimate. I just have to whisper the lyrics into it. I have to caress the lyrics into it. And the same with playing characters. You just have to you have to make sure you're staying in the realm of this versus, right? Otherwise you peak out sound-wise, whether it's singing or whether it's acting. Did that answer any of that?
No, absolutely it did. Yeah. It did. And I love how you were saying that too, because, speaking as someone who also has a creative mind, like, because I do YouTube, I stream and all that, having that creative mind, that sometimes you have to be in that particular zone. But then sometimes it's good to have that one person just kind of nudge you and go in that proper sort of direction or to kind of reel it in, right? So that I love hearing that too. I'm glad that you brought up Lonnie, the voice of Rouge.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the other questions I was going to ask you as well. Because when you hear the interactions between Knuckles and Rouge in Sonic Adventure 2, it's outstanding, right? It's hilarious. Did you have any particular, like, what was really sort of the motivation behind, like, the banter between you and Rouge when you were actually doing those lines?
I think it honestly is just naturally, and especially with the gift of getting to say them to each other, that there is an aliveness of being in the room of that. And I think that sets the tone for everything that comes out of both of our mouths. And Lonnie is so great that I was always like, I want to be that good. Like, this is the deal. Like, you want to be, I always say this, whether you're doing a play, whether you're doing TV, I always want everyone to be better than me, because then it makes me want to be better, right?
Yep.
I don't want to be the best person in something. Then
because you can't grow.
You can't grow, right?
Yep.
And Lonnie is, I mean, she's so talented, an incredible artist and a really great director, really specific director, which I love. I love when somebody can say, try this or do this, and it's like playing tennis, right?
Right.
And so to me, our scenes feel that way. It feels like we're playing tennis, right? It's just that the energy of it, and but I feel that I really do. I feel that with Ryan. I mean, I feel like I don't have enough kind words to say about the entire cast, but it all doesn't exist without Ryan.
Yep.
Getting us in the mix of it all, and without Lonnie, right? Like directing and guiding the ship, of course, with the Japanese team. We were talking before we started. My first city was Harlingen, and that every single one of these stays in my mind, and I leave with 2 or 3 people that are going to change my life forever. Mm-hmm. But in Harlingen, the first person that came to my table, and of course I was so nervous, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what this is going to be like, and are there going to be big crowds? And there was a big crowd, and that makes me feel anxious, and all the things. And I probably will cry telling you the story because it's so sweet.
Go for it.
This really tall guy, like probably 6'6", could be a bouncer in a club, walks up to me and extends his hand. And he says, Mr. Dreier, it's so nice to meet you. And I'm like, oh, it's so nice to meet you. And then he bursts into tears and he says, man, I was bullied every single day in school. My parents bought me Sonic Adventure 2. And I played Knuckles every day. You are the voice of my childhood, and you got me through my childhood. And I just wanted to come today to tell you thank you. Mm-hmm. That's why we do these events. That's why we're here. It matters, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Sorry.
No apologies needed. No apologies needed. That's wonderful.
Yeah, but that was when I started, I was like, that's going to be this. And I want to be present for this. And I want to be I never want to be a cautionary tale of don't meet your heroes, right? I want to be more for every single person that makes this trip and travels so far to meet us. I want to be more. And the games deserve that. The fans deserve that. All of it. I want to be more. But it's been a beautiful gift, and that shows up in every single one of these appearances. And then the gift of getting to do them with Ryan and David, and just to cement our brotherhood and our friendship is just that's the cherry on top. But really getting to meet the fans, you forget that these games came out at a time when people really needed a friend, right? And so this world, these characters became each person's friend, and so to be a part of that and to it's more beautiful than I will ever be able to put into a single word, a single phrase or word, or it's just you can't put it into words. It's bigger than us, right?
Absolutely.
Sometimes we're thinking we're just doing a job, but the fact that we're here talking about this job so many years later is just it's beautiful. Anyway, that's my Harlingen story, and that's why it will be dear to my heart forever.
And that's just the power of Sonic. And that's really what I said with Ryan and everybody too. So he has gone from becoming just a regular video game icon to a pop culture icon to a worldwide icon. And it's not just him, it's everybody that's involved within the Sonicverse too.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. With Knuckles, because I know Knuckles has become so much of a part of you now, like throughout the years. If Knuckles were to get another video game in any capacity, and it could be any type of video game, can be any genre, what kind of game would you want for Knuckles to be the star of?
Gosh, that's such a good question. I wish I had like this ready answer. No one has ever asked me this before. I don't know, I think because of my history with it and being a part of it so early on, I think I would want it to be, I would want to visit the greatest hits of the game, but I would want them to be done in a retro way, so that the whole world felt like it did in Sonic Adventure 2. So it feels like we're giving it an update, we're giving it a little bit of a facelift, but it's paying homage to the beginning.
Yeah, I can see that.
But going through not just those games, just visiting everything in that kind of retro is always comes back, right? It's always just the idea of that. I sort of love the idea of it being kind of vintagey.
So would you love to see something like Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 in that capacity, but done in the vein of like Sonic Mania, where it's like it's all in 2D?
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
I don't know, there's something cool about going back, right?
There is. Because there's Sonic Generations, but it's not the same. It's not quite the same because it's still a modern Sonic game in that style. You go to a retro style like that, but in Sonic Adventure 1, 2 Heroes. Yeah. That would be really, really cool. I'd play that in a heartbeat.
Yes. Maybe we're going to become millionaires because we just came up with this idea together.
See, exactly. See, I know somebody from Sega's watching too, so original idea, do not steal. But that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
But I think the answer is we would all come back in a moment. We would be a part of it in any way. I mean, it was as performers, you never know how long a job is going to last, and so I feel grateful for the gift that we got to do this series as long as we did. But everything else is just extra, right? And so getting this fan experience has been. I'm so glad I said yes. I'm so glad Ryan talked me into it and I talked to David into it, and that we're doing these together because I just, meeting the fans has been everything. It's been everything.
Do you have a favorite particular Sonic or Knuckles item in your collection that you hold close to your heart? It could be anything.
All of the fan artwork. I mean, even the artwork that we sell at our tables. Rachel Pruitt, she is a extraordinary artist. But the fan art, it touches me so much because they're using their artistry, but they're using their artistry to create something that has meant so much to them, so they know every detail and every nook and every cranny of it and every color and every shading. So when someone has created something for me and brings it up, it always makes me well up, because I think the art more than anything is something that stays with me. And I carry it with me. Someone gave me a Knuckles container hand sanitizer. So I use that.
I have one.
So
It's
I'm like, this is like something that is so normal, right? It makes me want to just use it, even if I don't need to use it, right? It's so that's something that I remember thinking, this is really, really cool. But definitely the artwork, when somebody uses their artistry, or a couple people have made T-shirts for me that have been made with so much love, and I just really appreciate all those things. Or even a note. If someone today wrote me a note and just wrote out, I'm going to be so nervous to say to you what is in my heart, that I wrote it down on this card. And I'm so clearly, I get emotional, and I'm so moved by it. But it's overwhelming to just feel this tremendous rush of love, and to be a part of people's lives, childhood, in such a positive way. It always takes my breath away. Still.
I say this literally like every day, because I'm involved with like all kinds of different retro fandoms, right?
Yeah.
The Sonic fandom is the most passionate and loving. I mean, it's not 100%, as with any fandom, right?
Yeah.
But they are the most dedicated and loving fans out of any sort of video game franchise. Heck, maybe out of really any pop culture franchise that I could say. And it's been a wonderful journey since '91. I'm sure it's been a wonderful journey for you the entire time too. So yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I remember my very first Knuckles piece that I ever got when I was a kid, because McDonald's had the Sonic 3 toys and everything, which is why Sonic and Knuckles became a thing, and Sonic and 3 and all that good stuff. But I have this little tiny Sonic racer, or not Sonic, a Knuckles racer, that he's in the cloud, and like when you roll him forward, he spins, like his Knuckles spins.
Oh, how cool.
So if you see that little McDonald's toy, that's the one that I'm talking about. That's the very first piece of Knuckles merch that I had ever had.
And is it in a package?
It was a Happy Meal toy.
But do you have it? Is it in your?
Oh no, it's not in the bag. No, I have it loose. It is in my collection though.
Okay, you have to at least take a picture. Show me at Sonic Expo if you don't bring it. I want to see it.
Absolutely. I mean, I have a whole video of all of my classic Sonic merch that's there. I've got like 2 rooms full of Sonic. You can ask her. Like it's overpowering. But yeah, that was my very first one. So that one means a lot to me as far as Knuckles collecting goes. But
yeah, I don't. Awesome. It's funny. I don't have a lot of. I have these like parts of my life where there are a big show that I did that like I did in theater. I did like 30 productions of a show called Little Shop of Horrors, and I played Seymour. And so I've had so many little Audrey 2s, people. So I have a bajillion of those things, that people have given me over the years, because I got to play that part so often. So that is a big gift for me. People have given a lot. And so I have a ton of that, which I love and I cherish, and people have made me Audrey 2s and all of that. So that is, feels like I have these parts of my life that have fandoms, like Little Shop does too, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Sonic, yeah.
You look like you got something to say. I'm gonna let you have a little moment. I wasn't expecting that. That's amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah. Do you have you guys like Little Shop? I'm guessing.
Yes. Very yes.
It's a big. I have between all of these things. This probably won't be interesting to anybody, but as a kid, I wasn't allowed to watch movies or listen to music or watch TV until I was in high school. Mm-hmm. Come from a super religious family, and so as a kid, I was only allowed once a week to watch an old movie with my mom.
Okay.
And it was always, almost 99.9% of the time, it was a Doris Day movie. This old movie actress who still holds the record. She's still the biggest female box office star of all time. Mm-hmm. Still holds that record today. And so when I was doing Little Shop, I was at a theater, and the artistic director of the theater said, there's a story in this. Like, this is a show. Like you were only allowed to watch Doris Day. She's your entire pop culture. So imagine this, like I get to high school and what I'm doing, every time I go to a friend's house, I say, can we watch TV? Because everybody talks about TV, right? And when you don't know any TV, you don't want to go, I can't watch TV. I've only ever watched Doris Day movies. Like, so my pop culture is amazing because I would memorize. Who was on what show, what the most popular shows were, but I didn't discover any of that until I was in high school.
Right.
So I created the show called Doris and Me, which I've done all over the country for several years now, where I tell my story, I tell Doris Day's story, I interweave her music. Of course, I don't have to look or sound like Doris Day. I'm a guy, I'm not doing the show in drag or anything, it's me, right? But I'm singing, so it's almost like a flip of a girl doing a Sinatra show, but a guy doing a Doris Day show. And then it ends with the night we met, and then it led me to becoming friends with her and getting to know her. And I'm a huge animal welfare activist, and Doris Day was an animal welfare activist before Betty White. People don't think about it because she retired, but in doing the show, I started insisting that we bring a rescue on stage. Whenever I would do the show, we'd find it a home, we'd raise money for animals. So I've helped to raise over $600,000 for animals so far. So
awesome.
But so I get a lot of Doris Day things too. So people will give me because they know I love Doris Day, right? So I get the, but it's weird. I just doing the signings is when I've started to get these beautiful gifts and presents from the fans. So they mean more to me than any thing that would be a value on eBay. Is what
of course.
Yeah. Just the fact that somebody drew this, they painted this, they made it because they wanted to thank me. I've kept every single one of them.
It's always the best.
Yeah.
Always the best when you have the ones that are made with the love towards what you've done and how it affected them and how it touched them.
Yeah.
So yeah. Awesome. So typically the question I ask is, if you were a kid and you were watching Saturday morning cartoons, what are you watching and what are you eating? Did you have something like that? Or were you kind of past that point and you were just watching what you can at that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was allowed, I'm trying to remember, that's a great question. I mean, this is the other thing, is I would say I loved any kind of sugar cereal. Like, so I always equate that, and we didn't, I didn't come from a wealthy family, so for us, like, getting tricks or getting, anything. I wanted the sugary, the better. I wanted, if it was chocolate, I was even more into it. Like but like my Saturday morning stuff, we read a lot. My mom's a big reader, so we did kind of the things that she wanted to do. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, like routine-wise, I discovered like Bugs Bunny and all those cartoons like a little later, but honestly, that led to voiceover work, right? Because it feels like when you're in the studio, you can do the things that, you're not going to go shift rock, yeah. You're going to go shift rock, yeah. You're going to be like a cartoon character, right? And even doing theater was the same, triple takes, and a lot of the stuff I've done on like Disney Channel has been like Saturday morning cartoons. Like I'm known for playing Harold the Herald on a show called Sweet Life on Deck, and that was like being a Saturday morning cartoon. It was heaven. It was beautiful. But as far as ritual, no, I wish I did. But because pop culture came to me later, and now I have, things I love and listen to and things that calm me. But back then it was definitely cereal. Yeah, I wish I had a better answer than that.
No, actually, it's a wonderful answer because I'd never heard of that kind of take on it before. Because when you mentioned it, it's like, no. Hey, but you know what? That's awesome. That's awesome. And that you still got to experience it in some fashion a little bit later on. So, yeah.
And play catch up. Because even when people would talk about it, I'd be like, yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Because I've watched that and I've experienced it and I've been able to watch it with, slightly older eyes. But, I'm not 6 years old watching it, but still experiencing it and appreciating it.
Well, if there's one thing that I've learned through several, not only through the three of y'all today, but for, say, like Mike Pollock and everybody at Sonic Expo, Bugs Bunny is the key. It's like we're all kind of came from sort of that same generation, right? Looney Tunes was really the key. Tom and Jerry, they were the ones that we grew up with.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. But Bugs Bunny is never not funny. Never not funny. Yeah, it's It's epic. It still is epic.
Before we go, why don't you tell everybody on the internet where they can find you?
At Sonic Echo, or you mean it's where? Like
No, I mean you. Like, where can they find you?
You
Like,
can find me, let's see,
socials.
social medias, I'm at the Scott Dreier. I have the weirdest spelling, too many vowels. SCOTTDREIER. I'm on, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. And then on my website is scottdreier.com. And I try to answer everything. I really do. I think it's important to communicate and get to talk with these beautiful, beautiful fans. I would love to just say, I will always be grateful for the beautiful, beautiful love that continues to be rushed toward me and towards us for these games. They were so special to us. They will always be so special to us. They will always hold the dearest place in our hearts. And all of the fans do too. And we're so grateful. Keep coming out because I want to meet you all. I want to come around that table. I want to give you all a big hug. And I want to thank you for your beautiful support of me and us and this wonderful franchise.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of hugs, can I get one real
Yes,
quick?
of course.
I really appreciate you. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you. It's wonderful meeting you.
So wonderful meeting you.
And of course, I'm sure y'all know where to find me. At G to the Next Level, I'm everywhere. Of course, help the channel out, subscribe and stuff. And on behalf of Scott Dreier, the original voice of Knuckles, I'm G, and I'll see you on the next level.